Good morning. We are going to be starting our Of Mice and Men novel unit today. This unit will run from approximately October 12th until November 9th. There'll be activities that you'll be doing. We're going to be following the modern classroom model for this unit, which means that you'll be watching videos and completing activities and work on your own at your own pace. There are certain things that you'll have to do to stay on track for the unit. There will be other things that you'll be doing that will be bonus activities that'll help you dive deeper into the information and the reading of Mice and Men. So what we're going to do now is you're going to be doing a set of Cornell notes for the first 2.1 part of the unit. This is going to be a context video. It'll give you some background information on the book, on the author, John Steinbeck. You're going to complete this Cornell note sheet as you watch the video. So you can stop the video, you can start the video, you can paste it as however you want. Some of the information has been already added to the Cornell note page for you. I did that as a courtesy to help you get an idea of what you need to do. The note sheet is located in the Schoology folder for October 12th. It's listed as 2.1 Cornell Notes. There's also a calendar of things in that same folder that'll show you just certain due dates and things and how you're going to keep on track with the work. So basically what we're going to do now is we're going to get into the context video, so you can go ahead and pull up the Cornell note sheet, and I would have it tabbed up. So you have one tab for the video and one tab for the Cornell notes, and then you can switch back and forth between them as you go along with the video. So without any further ado, we'll start with today's first video. So like I said, this is 2.1, and this is going to be context. So you're going to be able to read chapter 1 of Mice and Men and understand its historical and context setting. So Steinbeck was born in Salinas, California. It's the Salinas River Valley. Okay, he was born in 1902 and died in 1968 of a heart attack. And again, like I said, he lived in and wrote about California, the Salinas River Valley, and he wrote about the 1930s. Again, like I said, lived in 1902, born in 1902, died in 1968. Lived in and wrote about California, Salinas River Valley. He worked on a dredging crew or in a sugar beet plant to get money for college, although he never completed a degree. And just so you know, a dredging crew is a group of guys who are digging up the bottom of a lake or a riverbed to clear out debris and to make the river or the lake deeper. He met migrant workers, often called hobos, in the 1930s through his work. He wrote about the people not usually in books, the poor, the struggling, and he also wrote about the reality of the times. He wrote Tortilla Flat, Of Mice and Men, and The Grapes of Wrath. The Grapes of Wrath was published in 1939. Of Mice and Men was published in 1937. That's a typo on the slide there. And he also wrote more than 20 other novels. As a result of the body of his work, all the novels that he wrote, he won the Nobel Peace Prize or Nobel Prize for Literature in 1962. Like I said earlier, he wrote about the Great Depression and during the times of the 1930s. Okay, this was the most severe economic downturn in American history. It was the 1930s, but it began with the stock market crash of 1939. And basically what happened there is people lost all the money they had invested in the stock market, and it created this economic downturn that lasted until American involvement in World War II. So 1929, United States got into World War II after Pearl Harbor in 1941. Okay, during this time, the unemployment rate rose to 30%. 50% of commercial banks failed. Crop prices fell by 50%. And basically what that meant, if you were selling stuff for $10, now it was only worth $5. Overproduction led to that 30% unemployment. Hunger, despair, poverty, and homelessness. Millions of Americans had their lives destroyed as a result of the stock market crash and the resulting Great Depression. Here are some pictures of what the Midwest looked like during the 1930s. Okay, it was called the Dust Bowl. Okay, some other pictures here. And right here, if you see right here, there is a close-up picture. It's a very, very famous picture that kind of shows the plight of the 1930s. So there's like I said, there's a picture that's a close-up of this. Okay, so migrant workers. Before technology created farm machinery, humans had to do most of the farm work by hand. Between the 1880s and the 1930s, thousands of men would travel the countryside in search of work. Such work included harvesting crops, doing odd jobs at farms and ranches, and whatever work was needed. These workers would earn $2.50 or $3 a day plus food and shelter. During the 1930s, the unemployment rate was high in the U.S., and with so many men searching for work, agencies were set up to send farm workers to where they were needed. In the novel, George and Lenny, the two main characters, were given work cards from Marion Reddy's, which was one of the farm work agencies. All right, here's a quote from John Steinbeck. I think I would like to write the story of this whole valley, of all the little towns and all the farms and all the ranches in the wilder hills. I can see how I would like to do it so that it would be the valley of the world. All right, some information about the book. Okay, the novel deals with the issues of the exploitation of itinerant or migrant workers, the failure of the American dream, America's general moral decline. The book was published in 1937, and Steinbeck reflects on a specific time and a place by writing about it. So that's the end of our context video. You can watch this as many times as you need to be able to complete that Cornell note sheet. I will be walking around while you guys are watching this individually. Okay, and so if you got questions, you can just stop me. You can raise your hand however you would like to do it. But now that brings our first video to a close. Again, if you have questions, make sure that you raise your hand and ask me. I'll be walking around the classroom.